people fight over finances. I was just looking at, even when you see couples like from supermarket, vakabatana maoko, and many times we think, hey, love iri kupisa but ndakatobata munhu wake kuti asamhanye kushefu nezvinhu zvinodhura, if you know what I mean.
Kutanenge achimudzoreredza
itori breaking system kuti wangu ndikamusiya. By the way, it applies to both genders. I don't want to stereotype certain genders kuti ndoma spenders. You'll be surprised with the other gender that thinks kuti they are not spenders. They're actually the big spenders. Like in my case, I'm the big spender in marriage medu. I'm the one who spends more. I'm one who chops more, the money.
Okay.
Yeah, so it applies to both genders. So if we then fail to implement the principles that we're going to discuss today, DJ Eve,
yes,
you then find out that you end up in a situation where one then assumes the role of a parent. Because then the other assumes the role of being a parent, then the other one takes the role of being a child.
You are controlling me.
Exactly. I have to beg my husband as if I'm begging my parent. So a lot of marriages out there, they're in that scenario where the other part is more like the parent now, and then the one Asinamari at that point in time is more like a child who's always begging and asking for money and accounting for every cent, whereas the other person has kutumba account. The other person can actually blow large sums of money, but no one can bring them to account. And then the other one I can go spend just kamarika shumanana anogarswadare spend amaruwa peza mari. It's because we simply are not following the principles that have been laid down for us in order for us to thrive in the marriage and not to struggle in the marriage. Managing these different personalities that we have, particularly the spender-saver dynamic. I'm here, DJ Eve, to make it clear that it's okay, it's perfectly okay for one of you to be a spender and the other to be a saver. If you are not yet married, don't go out there looking for a saver. Did this spender? My friend, if you are a spender, if you get a saver, that's okay. If you are a saver and you get a spender, that's okay. Don't be looking for someone who's exactly like you, a photocopy of you. That place or that marriage will be a disaster. Imagine two people that have the same personality marry. They're both savers. What will happen in that house, in that home? And it will be so boring. So we need to balance things here, and we need to accept the traits that are in the other part, so that we can actually have a balanced life. We can actually do life. I'm big on that. I want couples to do life. Because when you get to that place where life, or rather where marriage to be particular, is boring, then you're on the verge of losing your marriage. And one thing that makes marriage exciting is making sure that we actually direct resources to, us doing life, us having fun together, the two of us, or just hanging around with friends, traveling, the things that we enjoy the most. And that needs resources, that needs money. So we need to have a balanced approach, especially if we are to manage this spender-saver dynamic. And Pampacho, it ends up with a physical fight, because people are simply not agreeing on how to spend the money and how to save and what to buy, things like that. So it's very important for us to understand this spender-saver dynamic and try to see how then do we navigate around these differences that we have. Okay, I want to define this spender-saver dynamic. Okay. This situation, this scenario is when one member of the couple wants to save most of their money, whereas the other member of the couple is a spender and wants to spend without thinking too much about savings goals. The other one wants to spend, then the other one wants to save. So in your situation, actually, the spender-saver dynamic. And remember, you are in a marriage that is what we call a covenant. It's a covenant relationship, meaning that it's okay for you to be different, because in a covenant, if a covenant is going to be strong, you need to put two people that are different, that have different set of skills, rather than just getting someone who's like you. So I'll give you a biblical example. In biblical times, if you're a farmer, you then get a hunter to become your covenant partner. Why? Because kana musina kurima goreroro, pane famine and all that. The skills of the hunter will then come in and save you. You then eat game and all that. And vice versa, if the hunter does not get the game, then the farmer will then provide food. So it's important for us to understand marriage as a covenant. Could the person that I'm covenanted with, they are different in terms of the skills that they bring. They are different in terms of their personality, their character. So it's not up to me to change how they think, how they view money. Okay? It's not up to me. It's something that is inherent in them, and it's something that we can use to the best, of our marriage. So it's really very, very important. Because otherwise you die a frustrated spouse trying to change your person. Kuti aone maonera unoita regarding nyaya dzemari kana kuti atange kubehave in a certain way that you'd want, that is different from who they are and who God made them to be. So it's very important for you to understand that that's who they are. How do I live with this person who's different from me? We are miles apart in terms of how we view money, our attitude towards money. How then do we compromise? How then do we find that middle ground as a couple? Because at the end of the day, that's what we must do. Find that middle ground. It's not about that mentality. It's a winner take all mentality. Let's find that middle ground. Let's negotiate, bearing in mind the other is a spender, the other is a saver. Okay, so it's also very important for us to look at this saver person. Because I want you guys to understand yourselves. I want you guys to understand how you behave the way you behave. I want you guys to understand why you are facing problems financially in your relationship. And by the way, this also applies to those that are yet married, those that are still single. It also applies to them. Because unotozviona muchitodheta ipapo mukaenda kwako kamunoenda akusi kumasleepover unokuti chii the opposite kuma-outing kuma-dating kwekuti mangoenda henyu you are coming back home maenda you just eating out. You can actually tell kuti mumwe wangu wandidhila naye ndispender the way they are spending, then mune matoenda ndima nalewa apa maenda kudate maenda kulunch date maenda lunch date and unknown to you utori patest.
Okay.
The way you are ordering nechichi muna kutoti vakomana ava ndispenda vanda kubatana nawo chazozvikwanisa here.
Okay.
So be careful ladies, be careful gents, you might be on a test.
Usingatozvizive kuti uri patest.
Unongozitora zvauri kuda, just order whatever you want and then you start spending mari yakawanda and then the other guy will be like, hey, imari yesimendi guy. I'm going nowhere with this person. And pampacho you then spend on even things that you don't even need. So unongo to judge one. So we need to understand kuti saver mun agata say we need to profile the saver so that we get to know kuti mun agata say. Luckily for me, I'm married to a saver, so I understand the dynamics such as the reports. So and you are the
spender.
I'm a spender.
Okay.
Getting married to a saver is not an easy thing. It's not a walk in the park. Tinonzwa nekutsvaga madhiri.
Okay.
Kuti let's get a deal rokuti zvinasukudhura. We are always looking for that place inotengesa zvakachipa. If you are married to a saver, you know all the corners in town. Because the saver has actually done all the research for you, and they are into numbers, they are into details. They will tell you the difference there would have saved 2 cents, chichi, and as a spender you're like, come on, 2 cents, am I going to sit in the car just because of 2 cents?
Yes.
So you get frustrated as a spender. I am married to one. A big shout out to Pastor Glory, my wife.
Hello, Pastor Glory.
We are big blue. I'm married to a spender, and that's a spender for you. We are always looking for these deals and all that. That's what we do. So we now need to then balance up things here. If I'm married to a saver, I'm a spender, the saver must also understand me. Kana tisina spender we are simba, then life will not happen. My grapes chacho anogonatodyiwa kana doctor vaita prescription.
Panenge pasina skin yema grapes.
Munotomira doctor vaita prescription yekuti
pakuda magrapes
imbonotenga kweitwa grapes so that woita zviri nani. But if the spender is there, the spender will also, bring in that aspect. Come on, guys, it's been 2 months. Lumo kana grape, kana yoma blueberry. It takes a spender. But if you leave the saver to do everything, then So the spender will make sure that we've also put aside, fun money and money and all those things. So here's the profile of a saver. Let me start with the saver. Now the saver is very careful about how and when they spend the money. Vantofungisisa kuti mari inotenga toita sei nayo and chanotenga kupi. These are the questions that are in their minds. So as a saver as well, vanoona mari kuti inofana kuunganidzwa iswa somewhere as a sense of security for them. For them is security. Kuti tikapedza mari saka mangwana chazoita sei. So they would rather see it iri mukona imomo yakagara. Vanotokutaurira idye sadza ngaigare zvayo ipapo. They are worried about the future. So they allocate money towards long-term financial goals like buying a house or what happens after they've retired. So if you want to excite a saver, talk about building a house, talk about buying a stand. Unoexcita. Kungoti ngatidye ice cream kwindi munhu kutotsamwa kuti chicho imari yatikunosisa zvinhu zvemusoro. But when you talk of big things, this is what excites them, and nothing is wrong with that. Let's appreciate them and let's use them to the advantage of the marriage, and it's very important. Okay, let's also profile the spender.
Okay.
Now the spender, this is Pastor Simba. Our motto is simple. This is the motto that we run with.
Analewe.
Jesus is coming back soon.
Hey, life is too short.
Life is too short. Jesu ari kudzoka ngatirore bag ndikaichengeta million yosara yozoshiwa naumani, and unfortunately that's the mentality that a lot of people have, and because of that we then fight. Because in ngatipedzei mari, then the saver is also thinking about the security kuti okay ramangwana redu rakaita sei, and then we end up fighting. We reach a gridlock and we can't agree on many things, whether to buy or not to buy, and then life is on hold at that moment and we are not enjoying life. So the spender's motto is Jesus is coming back soon. And the spender is always shocked when schools are opening. Yes, schools have to because they know they have not put anything aside for school fees. Pamwe pesa panga jabula vachidya mari, and then kana zvikoro zvakuvhurwa manje, then they start pondering kuti saka ndana chanotaura naheadmaster chichi, and that's savers, that's spenders for you. And mushonga unorapa maspender unoita kuti tinge tiri balance. Ndokuti kana tichidya mari zvedu tiita zvatinoita, when schools are opening, please drag the spender along. Musamusiye ngaende iye kwa headmaster. Let's take them. Anotaura iye because akabva ikoko achabva adzikama in the way they spend money, because akuzama consequences acho kuti now I have to to beg headmaster, I have to do this and that. It's embarrassing at some point. Saka it's very important for us to know how to deal with that in as far as involving the spender. Kana takuenda kunofa kuchibhadhara mari refu kuti azoziva kuti mangwana katakudya ngatidyei mari tisiya imwe. So they act shocked. They are always accusing the days of moving fast. Mazari kufamba. And because it's now time to pay rent house, it's now time to pay school fees. That's the spender for you. Yeah, because vane vachingoda kungoita mari. They want to have fun, they want kudya mari, and vane vachingoti tichaita imwe. So in their minds, they believe kuti tikapedza mari iyoyi mangwana we're going to make money the same way we made that money. So that's one thing that then drives them to spend and spend and spend. But you then need the internal braking system that is brought in by the saver. So you need your saver. So the title that I'd given DJ even Deokuti, help I am married to a spender. Okay. So the spender aripo, but we need a saver. Saver not batsira. Because a spender, the background music, I can get you play rather their favorite jingle is Chop My Money. That's them. That's their theme song. Whether it's January, it's December, that's their theme song. That's how they think. That's how they operate. Okay. So let's look at the spenders.
Okay.
Further, let's profile them, because I don't believe we understand them enough. We end up fighting them, but still understand where they're coming from. Okay. For the saver, we understand what they are doing, that they're pushing for that because they want security. For the saver, we understand they're doing it because probably they've gone through such seasons. They go to the money and they overspent, and then so they've got that background. And the spender now, these are the reasons why they want to spend. These are the reasons why they are spendthrifts. Some would call them spendthrifts.
Thrifts, okay.
Yeah. Always looking for something to buy. Uzababata mari soka.
Kutangokuvaliwa.
Ndakazomboita imwe gore unozi ndabata salary yangu after 3 months of doing temporary teaching kumandarwin.
Okay.
Ndabata mari ndakapfuura pamba pedu kumazowe. Ndichibva kumandarwin ndakapfuura kumazowe going kutown ndawo ndakaudza kana maparents tichakuvaliwa nayo mari. It was my first paycheck.
Oh wow.
Got into Harare and I bought unnecessary stuff including lipstick thinking it was Levi's. And there I was applying lipstick here for my lips and room bars and people are looking at me funny.
Like
what's
what?
happening? That's what kumbanda kuzvona pamira vanesachiseka. And I was like, oh, okay. Ngazoti dzungura spend arandibata. Okay. So this is what causes, or rather what pushes someone into becoming a spender. Number one, they may not fully understand the financial situation. Kuti hatina mari ndozvatiri. Inini, I'm married to my wife, right? If I'm going to give my wife $1 today, $2 tomorrow, and I'm not telling her, kuti this is our source, this is how much we're earning, she's going to assume in her mind, kuti we've got money.
Yes.
So every now and again she's going to be asking for money. They didn't deposit $10, deposit $20. Because I think they don't fully appreciate the situation. So it's very important for us to sit down and actually talk about our situation. Here are our income streams, Shamal. I know my obligations that now let everything be on the table. Open. That's why we are big on talking about financial openness. There must be that financial openness. Because you can't blame me for spending, for overspending, if I don't know what to say. So don't blame your wife. It's because but the moment you know so much and this is what we want to do with the money that is coming in,
then there's some type of understanding.
Yes, yes. So that's the reason why spenders are spenders, because they don't know kuti mudura muchinechi, you know. Then number two, they may have felt deprived or controlled financially in childhood and are trying to make up for it. And I want to show them those. So that's what's playing out in their mind, and they then become spenders because they have a point to prove. Listen to me, couples, you have no point to prove to anyone. Live your life, run your race. Even understand the stage you're moving. But it's just that set up a spending stage, cheaper saving. We've got big dreams. Number three, they may use spending as a psychological coping mechanism. To some people, it's therapeutic spending. And
I do that sometimes.
You are my sister.
Yes.
You are my sister.
Definitely. That's
me there. Stress. What I want to do is just to go through shopping.
Yes, I want to go buy a new pair of shoes. Makes me feel good.
Yes. There are many like you, trust me. They just go for shoes. But it's just shoes. For them it's therapeutic. Just seeing those shoes, line up, for them is therapeutic. So there are people like that. But guys, on a serious note, if you're like that, please, you need to see a counselor. You need psychological help. Don't spend all your money simply because you need stress and it. Then number four, they may spend more when they feel controlled, shamed, or judged by other people. Why are they controlling me? I want to just be, to do the opposite. I want to be rebellious, so I'm going to spend my money. Then number five, they may have money beliefs that make them feel that they need to spend money now or it will disappear. Crazy? Yeah. But there are people like that. Ndikasa spend enough. They've crazy ideas like that. You don't think about your children. You don't think about generations that are going to come. Remember the story that my story at the Bible, Abraham. Could Abraham dug wells? And I tell you, those are the same wells rather, even my descendants. The same wells. All they needed to do was to come and redig. Abraham. So it's very important for us to be thinking about the future. It's very important for us to be forward thinking, to think about what will happen in the future, what will happen to our children. That's why the Bible says that, we must leave an inheritance for our children's children. Not just our children, but let's look beyond our children. Let's look at okay, so these are some of the reasons why a spender wakes up and they are now a spender. But I don't want to go. This is not what we must do.
Yes, we need solutions.
Yes,
we need solutions.
If you're in that spender saver dynamic, spender, you will saver or vice versa. What must you do? Number one, let's have shared goals, shared financial goals. Okay, let's sit down. Let's talk about our financial goals as a couple. Couples are funny. They can talk about anything, but finances, I don't know why we do that. But I'm looking forward for a day where let's talk about our future. Let's talk about the money that we want to make and how we want to make it. Let's talk about financial intimacy. Where am I letting you down? Where must we improve? How do we save more?